The true character of a society is revealed in how it treats its children, says one of the best quotes by Nelson Mandela. Hello, listeners. Here is Giridhar, and you are listening to the podcast Giridhar's Garady. Today, we have someone really special on our show. She is a psychologist, safety and life skills trainer, an amazing teacher, orator, a passionate Toastmaster, and whatnot. If you happen to watch any of her videos, I'm sure you would have found them as one of the most inspiring ones. Popularly known as the Nalini Teacher, presenting the guest for today's episode, Mrs. Nalini Kishan. Hi Nalini ma'am, welcome to Giridhar's Gardi. How are you doing today?
Hi, Giridhar. I'm fine and hope you're also fine. First, a happy new year to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Wish you too a very happy new year and even healthy new year.
Yeah,
And I'm doing good.
yeah, yeah, great. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, just one question before we start. How do you feel like being a guest on this podcast?
Yeah, that's really amazing because if I have to tell you, uh, I was once invited by radio station Akashwani Vijayawada. So our English teacher has taken a few group of students where we had to recite a play in Akashwani. So we happened to be one of the characters of that play. And now when I'm doing the podcast again, I'm just remembering those days where in my childhood I had a chance to speak in Akashwani, and I feel like we are it's like a what we say retreat, and good that we are again using this mode of listening and learning and sharing. It's a wonderful platform, and thank you for bringing me taking me through that nostalgia.
Thank you so much, Nalini ma'am. And I'm really happy. And even I'm very much proud that you are on my podcast. And even I'm privileged at this point because you were already in the Akashwani in those days itself. Great.
Thank you, and
All
thanks
right.
from my side too. Yeah, for invite. Yeah, yeah. Please go
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. All right. So, ma'am, tell me, what is this child abuse all about?
So I would like to tell first that I'm by name or by brand name, I am Nalini Teacher. However, I am a psychologist and a life skill and safety skill trainer who works on training the children in their safety skills. I mean, safety is also a skill nowadays. It's no more information, or it's no more telling people, just telling them and leaving them at their own risk. Now we can train our children and make them aware of the different kinds of unsafe situations around them, and we can empower them with the knowledge and also make them mentally strong. However, in any case, by if they have to face any of those situations. Now, in that, the major part of our safety skills training goes in this point of child sexual abuse. So, if I have to say what is child sexual abuse, it's in short and in as simple to say that anything that is done on a child by any other person for their sexual gratification, that is called a child abuse. Now, when I say anything, it can be an act, it can be a gesture, it can be a word, it can be a sign. So, it can be anything where a child is involved, made to involve by any other who feels that they are more powerful than child. Now, they can be a major, they can be a minor in their age. That doesn't make any difference. However, a child, if is involved in any act or any talk or anything, any gesture for someone's sexual gratification, that is called as a child sexual abuse. And when we say it's child, according to our country or constitution, anyone who is lesser than 18 years is a child. So that is what, in short, by definition, child sexual abuse means.
Yeah, true. So, primarily, according to you, what are the reasons behind this child abuse?
Yeah, when we say that now child sexual abuse, when I have to say, now child abuse is of different kinds, like beating a child, or psychologically putting down a child, or maltreatment of a child. All these come under child abuse. Whereas when we say child sexual abuse, as I told just now, that it is for the sexual gratification of someone who is involving the child or who is using the child for their gratification. Now, what are the reasons? If you have to say, it is again the same how a person for their sexual needs, for their sexual pleasures, when they want to use a child. Now, what are the reasons? If I have to say, majorly, now you can never say that what is going on in the mind of an abuser. For different reasons, it may be like uh, they can choose a child because a child cannot tell anyone out of fear or out of ignorance or out of innocence. Second thing, some people by their own disorders, psychological disorders and other things, they would like to see children as their sources of sexual needs. That may be another reason. Third reason, it may be like if it is in the case of girls, then some people will choose minor girls because they don't become pregnant. We The reasons are many. Reasons are many because in the cases that we have gone through till now, it's never like someone is we have both the cases, like someone has that in their mind for a long time, and when they get a chance or an atmosphere, they display something that are they do an abuse on a child. We have seen that also. Whereas we have seen the cases also, like someone may not be planning for a long time or grooming the child, but yet goes for such an abusive act when the environment or when the things around them are helping them. So we never know what are the reasons in the what is going on in the mind of an abuser for any reason, for anything. One thing we have to understand, that when it comes to child sexual abuse, no reason is a valid reason. When a child gets abused, no reason is a valid reason for the abuser to display that act or gesture or anything. That is what seen by the courts also. So the reasons now why abuse is going on a lot. Yes, abuse. One thing we have to understand, that child sexual abuse was there for a long time. It has been from ages. However, it's time now that we are talking. We are coming out and we are talking. If you ask any woman, or if you ask any, probably men also, many men, if you ask them that if they have gone through any such kind of abusive situation in their childhood, even if you ask the generation who are now also, many of them will come out and say that, yes, I have faced such situation, but I didn't know that it was abuse. I felt something discomfort and I just came from there. That's all. So it's not a new thing for us. It has been there, but however, as many other safety things, we are also learning about this. We are trying to prevent this, and we are trying to support the survivors by sharing our information, by talking about it, by bringing it on the platform, and also finding the ways how to decrease this. So why are we talking about child sexual abuse now? Because now we are more uh, focused on its prevention, and also giving the right punishment to the abusers. So that's the reason. Yeah.
Yeah, well said, ma'am. So, what are the signs or symptoms of this child abuse?
Okay. So by definition, if I have to say, it is uh, first thing we have to understand that every child should know what are his or her private body parts. Okay. So private body parts, if they can understand, they can also observe and also identify what is a safe touch and an unsafe touch. So by definition, if you have to say, any whenever a child is touched, I mean, whenever the private body parts of a child are touched, whenever they are filmed, videographed, or spoken about, then either by online or offline modes, anyways, This is called as child sexual abuse. Now the same thing goes, the child is also not asked, child should not also be asked to touch or to look or talk about someone's private body parts. So this is what child sexual abuse means. So when we say that something has happened on a child regarding child sexual abuse, any one of these would have taken place. It means someone would have tried to touch their private body parts, or someone would have tried to take a picture or taken a video about that, or someone would have spoken about their private body parts, or would have gone through a conversation that involves description or anything related to their private body parts. Now, same goes even if the child is asked to touch someone's private body part, or to some child is asked to look at someone's private body parts, or so if the child is asked to talk even or involve in a conversation that involves the private body parts of some other person, then we call it as a child sexual abuse. So what are the symptoms, how we will know, are if anything has happened, such the things that are shared by the child are always taken as the first primary information and the confirmed information about child sexual abuse. So even the POCSO Act also says that whenever a child tells that, yes, my private body parts are touched, or someone tried to touch them, or someone has tried to take a picture about them, etc. If someone, a child says, then that is the first, it is not the first also, there is the first and final report that a child can give about indication that a child about that a child sexual abuse has happened. Now, every child may not be so verbally strong, every child may not be mentally or morally strong, or every child may not be, it's not about strength also. Sometimes they may not feel comfortable. Sometimes they even don't know that it is not right on them to happen. So out of ignorance or out of innocence. So in that cases, they don't share. However, we see different symptoms, physical symptoms, if we have to say that if there was a abuse happened on the child, then their private body parts will have the child may say that they're finding it difficult to urinate, or they may say that they're finding it difficult to walk, or they are feeling very uncomfortable. They may have dream disturbances, they may not feel like eating, they may eat more, they may eat completely less, they may have sleepless nights, they may try to be alone. All these behavioral changes, if we are observing, then we have to encourage the child to please share with their adult whatever has happened. These kind of things we can see. Whereas psychological things, if we have to say, so psychological things will include that the child may go through extreme fear, or they'll first go through a lot of embarrassment. First, above all, their trust breaks. That is the most pathetic thing that a child can undergo in their childhood, is their trust breaks, not only on the person who has abused them, but on every adult, or sometimes even on everyone around them. So this is what the symptom we can see, trust breaks. But how do we see that the child has trust has broken? So sometimes they may not be ready to mingle with people, they may try to be alone, or they have so much fear that they don't try to want to be alone at all. So both things will happen, and these symptoms do include a range of things. Sometimes the child may not be liking to meet someone, or they may not be liking to go somewhere. Then don't force them. Understand why are they hesitating, or why are they rejecting to meet someone or to go somewhere like that. We have seen that if the impact is more on them psychologically, they again and again, they may again and again turn out to be victims of abuser in their future years, or they may again become abusers on others. So they may have some relationship problems, they may have problems related to trust, their studies may not be, they may not be able to continue their studies well, or they may be pressurizing themselves to prove and to be more successful. So here we cannot say that this one particular thing you see in the child and you say that yes, this child has undergone child sexual abuse. It is never like that. It is never like that. So as these are psychological things, and every person is unique, and every person has their own way of expressing things, feeling things, we can never say that this is how a child will react whenever they have gone through child sexual abuse. Sometimes the child may be as normal as earlier, uh, just because she or he doesn't want anyone to observe that in their behavior or in their day-to-day activities, but yet they may be burning themselves inside. So more thing like physical things only we can identify and we can say, but however psychological things, there is never one thing to see and identify and tell. However, all these range of things that what I have told, yeah, these will give you at least a small clue for, not for child, clue for the parents or any adult around them, guardian around them, to make them to call them, make them sit with themselves, give them all the comfortable situation for a good conversation and sharing. So if possible, if possible, or if the child feels that warmth, they may share it. So encouraging for a very good conversation and communication, we may know. So these are the symptoms, Giridhar.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. So now that we have seen the problem, we have discussed about the problem so far. Now let's talk about the solutions part. Like you said, these symptoms may be like a kind of clues for the parents. So let me put my next question in this way. What is the first thing parents must do if they suspect child abuse?
Yeah, very good. This is what actually to be done. So now this has two parts. If I have to say, Girdhar, there are two parts. Like what every parent must do, the prevention part, and then the every child must know the other things. Whenever, as your question included, that if some child has gone through any abuse, then and if the parent has come to know about that one, what they can do. So this question, let us take it in two parts. Now when we say like what every parent has to do, it's not only about parents, it's about parents, teachers, every possible adult. We have to understand that child safety is adults responsibility. So child safety is not a child's parents responsibility, no. As the wonderful quote you have just quoted in the starting of this session, with the child, if the child is safe in a society, then that safety is the responsibility of every adult around the child. Now what adults should know is, there are some myths like child abuse doesn't happen in our country much because we value our children a lot. Or see, my child is always around me or near and around our house. My child doesn't go anywhere, so there is no possibility of child abuse on my child. Or there are all good people around me, there are so many protectors around for my child. So please relearn or unlearn all these things in your mind about child sexual abuse. That is my request to every adult who is listening to this. Because in all the child sexual abuse cases, 94% of children who have undergone child sexual abuse, they could identify their abuser. What does it mean? The child can identify their abuser. What does it mean? It means that the child knows the abuser. They may be one of their family members, the very immediate neighbors, or the immediate family member, or or any adult whom they are in contact on a day-to-day basis. So never think that the child is very much safe in and around the house, or in and around the school, in and around the church to tuition or not. And practically it is not possible for any parent to always guard the child 24/7 every minute. You don't leave your child, so that is not possible. That is not even advisable also for a child to grow on their own. So what we can do is talk to your child about child sexual abuse. Tell them what is a safe touch and what is an unsafe touch. Encourage them to come and share that with them if any unsafe touch happens to them. Train them to be aware and understand that whenever someone is trying to touch them or trying to talk to them, are they breaking the personal safety rule of the child or not? So these are the things that are to be done by the parent. Now we take a lot of training sessions about this child sexual abuse through our foundation, Learning Space Foundation, and we talk both with children and parents also. Then a big doubt expressed by many parents is that how do we talk about this? Because private body parts we can't show the child, and they're very innocent. Now whenever that comes as a part of their biology lessons or etc., then that is okay. Now we can't make our child sit and tell that, oh, this is what, this is what, this is what, and we may not feel comfortable, or my child may not feel comfortable. My child may get confused about different kinds of touches, then she may fear. All these things are the doubts in the minds of the parents. For them, I am saying that it is very easy for your child to tell about a safe touch and unsafe touch. Before that, tell them the private body parts. You can just tell them that lip. I will tell you that girls have 4 private body parts and boys have 3 private body parts. What are the 4 private body parts of the girls? Is first one is lips, second one is chest, third one is the part that is between the legs front, and fourth one is the part between the legs back. And for boys, it is lips, part between the legs front side, and part between the legs back side. So Giridhar, it is as simple as that, as how I told now. You need not name any biological name or show the picture exactly taking the human body or something. Every parent, every adult can educate the children around them by just bringing a doll, any doll that the child plays every day. Just show them using the doll that see, these are the 4 private body parts. Ask them to repeat them. So they can simply tell like this. They need not name that this is what called, this is what called. So you can, after saying that these are the private body parts, they can say that anyone should not touch these parts, or they should not look at these parts, or they should not talk about these parts. In the same way, no one should ask you to touch their private body parts, or look at those private body parts, or talk about those private body parts. If something happens like that, please come and tell me immediately, the same day. I will not scold you, I will not shout at you, I will not blame you, anything. But anything, if you even suspect that anyone is even trying to touch these parts also, please come and tell me. This is what the parent can do with their child. It is as simple as that. So safe touch and unsafe touch, and this is not one time thing that earlier I told, now anything happens, the child will come and tell. No, children, they are children. So sometimes even when they say, they forget, or at that particular point of their time, they may not remember. So just like every time when the child goes to play, it's like every time we tell them, okay, play safe, don't fall down. See, whenever the child is riding the cycle, every time we give them a precaution, like please don't go too fast, use the brakes, look at the other vehicles. Don't we say this every time whenever the child try to touch a hot body, or playing with trying to insert a plug in an electric board, etc. Every time we give them, we alert them about what the things can happen. So may not be every day, but whenever it is a good and safe time for you, you feel comfortable time, you can just remind your child that this is safe touch, this is unsafe touch, and whenever an unsafe touch comes, please come and share with me. If not me, then give them also the other options. Like maybe every time maybe the mother is talking about this, but whenever the child undergoes this, maybe the mother may not be available at that time, or immediately available at that time. Then the child should also be given the other resources, other contacts. Like if I am there, please tell me, otherwise tell your anyone. It may be father, point number 2, or tell this one, person 3, etc., etc. They can give at least five number of people where they can ask them to come and talk about. So this is how they can tell about, the parents can tell about, tell their children. Okay, so these are the things that can be done by any parent before the child undergoes anything of that one. So whenever, if they have even suspect also, they can come and talk to the what we say, talk to their protector about this one. So next, if a child undergoes any unsafe touch or abuse or something, then what can the parent do? First, when the child tries to explain this one, understand that every child is not having the same communication capabilities. Also, sometimes child may be expressing everything to their parent about every small and big thing during their play, during their school, etc., etc., etc. But we should not take it for granted that a child who is expressing all these things will also share with me about an abuse happened on him or her. We cannot take it for granted, because children sometimes also think about the parent. Now if I tell what my mother may feel sad, my father may feel sad, my mother may be scolding myself, me only, that I told you not to go there, why did you go there, I told not to go around with me, without me, why did you not tell me? So they may fear that the parent may scold them back up. So because of several reasons, child may not be ready to share. This is one thing can happen. Or the child tries to tell something, but they may not communicate it as the way exactly as what there happened, because they may tell it in broken pieces, in small words. Also, sometimes they may narrate the same thing in different ways. Why I'm saying this all in detail, Girdhar, because this is very, very sensitive. Like someone has fallen down, some accident happened, the child may come and report. They will say it because they have seen it. But whenever is a unsafe touch happens on the child, first, as I told, the child itself is in a shock, or their trust has broken, or they may not in a they may be in a confusion, they may be in a frightened state. So we cannot expect them to communicate with a clear picture. So encourage the child to share, first thing. Also, don't pressurize the child to tell all the thing at one time only. They may just give them the comfort. According to their comfort, they'll be sharing it. It's not a hurry thing that you then and there itself they have to tell everything what has happened. No, please don't pressurize them. If you do so, then they will stop sharing, or they will tell something other than what has happened. So give them all that pace, all that comfort that they can express on their own face, first thing, on their own pace. And the third thing is, please don't react that something very big has happened, or something pathetic has happened, or something very frightening has happened with either their voice modulation or their facial expressions. Because the child, when they try to share anything about this, and if the adult keep very any of these expressions, then they again, their fear may double, their doubt may double, their confusion may double, and they it may stop the child from expressing. So first, appreciate them that they have chosen to express this, to share this. Appreciate them, that very good, that you are ready to tell about this, very good, good, okay. So would you like to tell what has happened? Ask them. So they will try to share something. Then don't put too many questions. Okay, someone has touched you, when they have touched you, did they touch you earlier also, how many of them have touched you, why did you not tell me when first time itself they have touched you, is there anyone along with you, or is there only whether they have only touched you or taken pictures or don't have shower a lot of questions on them. No, without any hurry, without any fearful or frightening voice modulation. Give all the comfort, and appreciate the child to share, and let them share it in their own pace. Sometimes the child may not like to share then and there itself. Then give them comfort, give them that support, that's all, that moral support for that time, and later encourage them to express. And sometimes the child may narrate different stories or different things at one time. Now understand that it is not that the child is telling some lies, but they have to recreate the situation that has happened in them. So with their own capabilities, they just try to recreate and put it in words. So be prepared that now we should not say, "Hey, last time you told that they have touched there. Now you are telling that they touched here. And last time you told that he has done once only. Now you are telling that he has done earlier also." So don't try to what we say, just like a lawyer or someone or a police like that. Don't try to interrogate them. Listen to them and encourage them to share. So this is what a parent can do whenever the child, regarding the child. And next, they can definitely report it. There are different ways of reporting. It is through the child helpline number 1098 is a child helpline number. They can report through them. They can go to any nearby police station and tell about this, report about this. And there are many online platforms where we can report about a child sexual abuse report. And if it is through offline mode, if someone is trying to abuse the child through offline mode by sending inappropriate pictures or asking for a video or picture, etc., then we can go to the cyber safety online sites to report. And one thing while reporting, always remember that a child or the child's guardian need not submit any proof related to the abuse. According to POCSO Act, the child or the guardian who is reporting need not submit any proof, not an audio proof or image or any other person, witness, etc., etc. It is not at all the burden of the child or the guardian to produce any proof regarding the abuse. It is the burden of the abuser to give all the proofs that they are not involved. Now it is on their head, because children, when this happens on children, child will not have any resource to record or to film all these things. So even the law also doesn't expect anything from the child. Only whatever the child says, whatever the child narrates, whatever the child reports, whatever the child shares is the final statement regarding the child sexual abuse. Now, how person ask is not like just how we see in the movies that the child is made to stand somewhere and tell everything. No, it doesn't happen like that. So according to the child's mindset, according to the child's age, and keeping their own way of communication in mind, there are many friendly ways that a professional will try to extract what has happened from the child in a very, very playful method, with all the toys or drawings, or it's like very child a friendly environment is created. And from there only, whatever the child wants to share will be made to share, and that is what taken as the statement. That's all. So these are why I'm saying all these, because many people will have some myths that okay, now something has happened on my child, and now I don't want to get into all these police cases, etc., etc. I don't want my child to be exposed because she or he has a great future. I don't want them to get like that. But understand that if you are making your child silent, then the abuser will do the same to another child. So whenever there is some theft happens, we tell all the people. Whenever some accident happens, we tell about that to all the people for prevention, for a good sense that that doesn't happen to any other person. This is also the same way, and the child's name or details or picture, etc., will not be exposed anywhere, should not be exposed anywhere, not in any papers or anything. The child details should not be revealed, will not be revealed also, according to the POCSO Act. So these are the things. When we know that yes, law is giving us such a great strength, we will also be ready to talk about this, to report about this. So these are the different ways the child can tell. Yeah. Lastly, as I was telling, that the child, neither the child nor the guardian has the burden of providing any proofs. Neither the details of the child will be anywhere expressed or should be released. So these are the things that we all know. And one more thing is that there is never a time constraint for a child to express about any abuse has happened. Like, for example, if I have to say, if someone is missing, so we report it after 24 hours. Or if something has happened, we have to report about it before 24 hours. Like that, we have so many legal things that are bounded to time. But however, child sexual abuse is like one thing where it is never a time boundedness. I mean, if a child has undergone abuse sometime in their age of 10, they are free to express it and report about it in their 11th year also, 12th year also, 13th year also, anytime. The law doesn't ask you that when that time when it happened, then why did you not come and report? So now this doesn't give you the sign that you don't report it immediately. No, it's not about that. It's about, again, giving the time for the child to talk about it, to express about it, and giving the necessary environment for the child to believe that yes, there is a system, there are people, there is a law that is ready to protect the child, or to give the child their part of justice. So that is the reason why this time bounded is not there. So these are all the things, Girdhar Garu, that many of us do not know. As we speak to parents, it's good that at least majority of parents now are at least knowing about they have to talk about to their children about bad touch and good touch. They think that okay, teachers, schools are talking about these things, but however now it is no more bad touch or good touch, because we never know what is good and what is bad. As adults itself, today we will feel something is good, and after 6 months we feel that it is bad. So it's not about bad and good thing, it's about safe and unsafe things. And why I am sharing all these things in details, because apart from all these things, whenever a child undergoes anything like that, there is a lot of need of support that is to be given to the child from each and every adult around them. So it is time for us actually to educate ourselves, to train ourselves, and to customize ourselves according to this according to the support that is required and demanded regarding the point of child sexual abuse. Yeah. So these are the things that are to be done by adults around a child regarding child sexual abuse.
Well said, ma'am. I must say you have just simplified everything, and you have told everything at a minute level that even someone who doesn't know or who are not aware of any of these things can easily understand. And I think you have also answered my next question of how to report a child abuse. So going forward, let me put my next question here. What is the ideal way to treat children who are victims of child abuse?
Yeah. So I will also tell the before question, as you told. Now, how to report, as you tell. Now, report can be done through verbal, or in written form, or in online form, or through phone line. So these are all these different ways. It's never like you have to write the report and tell. Not necessary, because it's not like the child should be able to tell everything that can be in a written form. It's the burden of the police or the other people to what we say, frame it in the form of a report. Even the child is studying in a school, then they can share it to their principal or someone. Then the principal, nowadays, even all the government and the non-government principals are also given the necessary directions by the school boards, respective school boards, about how to deal with a disclosure of a child sexual abuse. So they know what are the steps that are to be taken. They are not supposed to say that, okay, you go and report it on your personal basis, on your individual basis. No. So when it is related, as I told, it's adults' responsibility. So it's everyone's responsibility. So if you don't want, if the parent or someone don't want to go directly to the police station, they can take the help of the heads of the institution. That is another way. They can, that case, they can report it verbally, or they can go through online forms, because they don't want to their child to expose to any particular police station or this kind of thing. Then they can report about it online, or they can even take the help of child helpline number, that is 1098, which is printed on each and every child's textbook. So you can see that, and through phone you can tell, and they will give all the necessary directions that what can be done. That is the way. Those are the different modes of reporting. Whereas, so what is the next question, Girdhar garu?
Yeah, like the ideal way to treat children who are victims of child abuse.
Yeah, that's really very, very, very important, and the basic idea why I have shifted from a working mode to a service mode, because as information anytime and anywhere we can give. But why I'm working on this now 24/7 along with a foundation, that's Learning Space Foundation, is because there is a lot of psychological understanding, moral understanding, and related to law. Also, we should have some information. So there is a need of lot of people who are ready, voluntarily ready to share this information, to empower people with all the awareness. How to treat the child is very, very important, because as I told earlier, the effects of a child sexual abuse on a child can range from temporary to permanent. We never know how does it impact on each child's life behavior also. There are many cases that we have witnessed, even now, that just if I have to give a case study or an example, it's like there are cases where a couple have approached to a marital counseling. We find that they are happily married. They may have got a with their mutual concern only, they have got married, but yet they are not very good with each other. No, you don't find one valid reason also. I mean, valid reason according to the people around them. So according to the people around them, they see that there is no reason, there is no point of any clashes or any friction between the child. But in these cases also, as we go to the background history, we may have seen that in the childhood, one of these person of the in the couple would have gone through child sexual abuse in their childhood. So that is how it will have impact. Very less known. Even the child may also not know that they may not be comfortable with some other person in their future, because they had this effect of abuse in their minds. And when that particular point has come, when they have reached to a particular point in their life, only then they again see the shadow of this previous incident. So we never know, we cannot say that continuously the child will be like this. So how they should be treated? Immediate treatment is what just now I told you, that how can you comfort, give all the moral support to the child. And if it is a serious sexual abuse case with with a serious physical things, then we have to first attend the child with a physical recovery. Like sometimes if there is a serious abuse on the child, then the child private body parts get affected. They may develop urine infections. They may develop other kinds of serious infections, fever, and all these things. So first they should be treated about that one. Then along with that, a lot of psychological and moral support should be given to the child, where majorly the child should be made understand. The child should be given all the acceptance about that it is not your fault. That is the ideal thing that we have to do, every one of us, to say to that we have to know that it is never the fault of a child whenever the child sexual abuse happens. No one should say that, Are, you are now 13 years, 14 years, don't you know that who has to touch you and who shouldn't touch you? Or we need not, we shouldn't say that I have already told you about this unsafe touch and everything. Why did you allow someone to do like this? Or you need not blame the person that, see, you are dressing, the way you talk, the times you go out had made you or brought you to this way. So these are all invalid and meaningless things that if we are saying to a to a survivor of child sexual abuse. So what we can do, ideal way to treat them is first give them all the medical support if they are physically, there is a physical involvement and the abuse. And the second thing is tell them all the tell them that it is not their fault, so that you give all the comfort for them to come and share about this thing. Third one, encourage them to report about it. And fourth one is, if they are going through any abuse through online, then give them all the necessary understanding about what are the safe methods that they can use the technology. Because now you see, the world is completely based upon technology. If in their childhood they would have gone through any online abuse or something, now they should not develop a hesitation or complete rejection towards using any kind of technological things. Then that may hinder or that may even stop their regular academic development also. So teach them the safe methods, teach them the safe ways, and give them all the support needed. So this is what the ideal way to treat or to support a child regarding child sexual abuse. Yeah.
Very true, ma'am. I completely agree with you. When you say that we have to inform them that it is not their fault, yes, that's a very valid point, because that removes a kind of self-guilt from the child. So they won't be guilty for whatever happened, because end of the day, it's not their mistake, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Moving forward, let me put my next question in this way. A kind of different perspective, but at the same time relevant to this topic. So we always hear that prevention is better than cure. So what are the ways to prevent this child abuse?
Yeah, that's really true. That is really true. Prevention is better than cure, and that stays 200% better in this context also. Because whenever an abuse happens, it's not like, okay, the child will get affected, it's only once, no, it's not repeated, or etc etc, doesn't work in this case. Or they will learn from their individual experiences. So all these statements are not valid, particularly in this case, because the child gets affected in different ways, maybe some physically, maybe emotionally, maybe psychologically. We never know how they get affected. So in this case, it's always better for prevention is always better. However, we can never say, again, as it is child, we can never say that all our prevention methods will work 100% and we can just eradicate all these things, because it is again individual things. You never know the people around the child who is having what kind of thoughts in their brain. So very, very, very pathetic situation, Giridhar, if I have to say, that we see cases where the child's father is itself an abuser. The child's own grandmother or grandfather is the abuser. The very immediate person in the family, their uncle, is the abuser. And the child undergoes a continuous child sexual abuse every day, every time, every night. So we have seen those cases also. So it's always better that the child is given all these awareness information, as what I told, private body parts, about safe touch and unsafe touch, to tell the child that these are the sources that they can go and ask help for. It is okay to ask help. It is not a thing that personally, how can I talk about this to some other person? It's my personal thing, or it's my fate thing. No, not like that. It's, if not one option, they can tell other. So at least give them, let every child know at least a minimum of 5 people that they can go and ask help for. That may also include these child helpline numbers and police numbers also. That may include those also. Not only always all the 5 should be mother, father, grandfather, no, it's not like that. Give them the different sources, 1 from the 2 from the family, 2 from the extended family, 2 from the other social resources, etc. Give them this all these options. Then according to their comfort, they will go at least to reach out to at least one person for help. So this is how we can make the child to prevent from abuse. That will empower them. And prevention can happen here when there is a very good conversation about this. And it is okay to talk about this. We talk to children about, see, when there is water on floor, we tell children right from age of 1.5 or 2 years itself. We tell the child that don't run, you may fall down. Water is there, run slowly. Or they are trying to take something, they are trying to touch a knife, then we will try say no, it's sharp, it will cut your hand. So we try to teach safety to the children right from their very small age. Child sexual abuse also, we can talk to children right from this age also. But this talk should be some child appropriate talk. Now, to a 3-year-old, you cannot say that, come on, this is your protectors, these are these things you can call. We, of course, if we talk also, they will not understand. Then when they are very small, right, when they are at the age of 3 or 3.5, using a doll, just to tell them that if someone touches you in these parts, come and tell me. They should not touch this, tell a no, and you come and tell me. This is what the simple thing they can start saying. Then from there, according to their age, they can extend that conversation and they can talk about this. So if we want to really prevent this one, we are trying to talk to child about identifying what is an unsafe touch, and trying to tell that to any protector is what the first thing that can do. Also, it's not only the burden of the parent to talk about it, it's also the responsibility of every adult who are associated with the child. So every organization that is working with child, every institution that is working with child, associated with the child, it is also their primary duty to talk about this and to spread this awareness. So this is what we can do to prevent. Giridhar, here I would like to share that from Learning Space Foundation, we on November 14th for 2021, we have launched a site called, a pledge, Child Safety Pledge. So this was done through the hands of a popular director, Shekhar Kamala Garu, and this cause was supported by many popular figures who also found that child safety is utmost responsibility. We had actor Avsara Srinivas Garu, we had a lot of people like Baladitya Garu, we had police, we had Anjali Garu, I Dream anchor. So all these people have come together. We have to say our popular music director R.P. Patnaik Garu has come forward, and they have also taken this pledge. We had doctors, we have police people coming forward and who have taken this pledge. And this pledge is what says that yes, as an adult, I agree that the child safety is my responsibility. I will learn. If not, I have not learned about all these things earlier, I am ready to learn now from all the sources that are possible, and I will talk to the children about this child safety. I'll try to spread this awareness to as many children as possible. And now I will contribute for the child safety is what the summary of the pledge says. And everyone who is listening this can please go to this website, pledge.learningspace.co.in. I request Giridhar Garu to please also include this link if possible in all the places where you are uploading this podcast. So that is pledge.learningspace.co.in. Yeah, there you can find the pledge. It is available in all languages, Telugu, Hindi, English, Tamil, Malayalam, etc., Kannada languages, and you can just go through the pledge. And also we have added some information. Now, whatever I am sharing now, some basic information about what is child safety, what is child abuse, all this information is also attached with that website, so that someone who just want to learn about this can go through that and then take the pledge. So this is a small act that we have thought, like we have to include as many adults as possible in that child safety, because it is never, it is not the responsibility of it should never be the responsibility of the child to protect themselves in such a big society. Having so many adults around them, we should not keep this burden on them. It's our responsibility to keep our children around us, our children and children around us safe. So that is what I want to say, that what can we do towards prevention methods.
A big salute to you, ma'am, for being part of such an organization and working for a social cause. I must say a huge round of applause to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Giridhar. Yeah.
All right. So now that we have known about the prevention ways, like how to prevent this child abuse, now,
Mhm.
ma'am, just let us know what is the positive impact on society if we could prevent this child abuse.
Yeah, lot of impact. See, I have to tell you, Girdhar Garu, that there were days when polio vaccine was introduced. We have heard that some parents, whenever there used to health department related people used to come into the villages, and they wanted to give this vaccine to the children, and parents took their children inside and locked their houses out of fear, out of doubts, out of ignorance that see, these doctors are giving something to my child. Now my child may fall sick. So out of this fear, they used to hide their children from the health department people uh, uh, to what we say, to reject the vaccine, polio vaccine. Okay, but polio free India, we have 100% polio vaccinations done to each and every child in our country. So we have reached to this position. The same thing now also applies for this. Earlier, no one talked about child sexual abuse. No one spoke about this thing. They thought that it happens to some other child or someone who is very economically poor, or who is economically very high, because they have that kind of people around themselves. These are all myths. So it happens to every both boys and the girls are equally vulnerable to child sexual abuse. And also, as I told, that 90% children have got the abuse from the people around them only, whom they can identify. So it's not to frighten the audience or frighten people who are listening to this. Just let us know what are the truths. So from that situation, now we are in a place where we have people at least ready to talk about this, know about this, learn about this, and spread the awareness about this. So my idea is, if we start from now, as I told, from different ways, either now, I should also appreciate you that you have come up. You have so many n number of topics to talk in podcast. You can entertain people. You can talk about so many things. But you have taken such a issue to talk about, and such a you are giving your time, space, and effort to talk about this. Now, thank you very much for this, for giving this, using this platform also. So, uh, through these platforms, through different talks, through different discussions, or as what I told, pledge, etc., we can include a lot many people, as many people as possible. Now, what is the effect? Positive effect is what, that we can also make a child abuse free India. So that is the biggest positive effect I would like to see, and I am dreaming of, and I am working for that, as how we could attain a polio-free India, we can also attain a child sexual abuse-free India. Let us all work towards that. And next one is, as I told, the different psychological effects that a child may carry around them, in them, for a long time. Now, that will hinder their development. Their development may be economically, or related to their relationships, related to the violence that they are ready to take up, domestic violence, etc. Now, these all can be prevented. And whenever the child is free, whenever we are giving a child a positive environment, then they can grow into beautiful, wonderful people when they grow up. So childhood, as a psychologist also, I will tell you that childhood plays a very, very important role in one's life. All their behavioral traits, all their ideas about their future, all their goals, dreams, and how do they create some perspectives about different things in their life. uh, all these are dependent upon the childhood experiences. So the beautiful positive effect that we can bring in the coming generation is that we can all make them a strong individuals, where they can see the world as a safe place for them to grow, because there is no fear. Now, as Rabindranath Tagore says, lines say that where there is no fear and where we can held our head high, and that is a beautiful world, and we can create that beautiful world, definitely. Yeah.
Well said, ma'am. Let's wish someday, just like you said, the way we have conquered polio, the same way we will be able to conquer this issue as well.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Okay. So, ma'am, now tell me how to create awareness on child abuse to parents or guardians.
Yeah. Uh, First thing for parents, as I told you now, if they should first come out of these myths so that my child is safe and my child will not go through all these things. I am always assisting my child, etc. Please, I would request all the parents or all the adults who are thinking about this to burst their myths and understand the reality. First thing. Then, very simple as that, that try to talk to your children about this, and by any unwanted, this is definitely an unwanted scenario, but however, if even if it takes place, also encourage your child to come and talk to you. The easy way that parents can tell about this to their children is that is one thing I have created, Girdhar Garu, for an easy communication, that I have created called something called the 4321 formula. So it is easy for child to remember. 4321 formula. What is this 4321 formula? Is 4 the private body parts, as I told you: lips, chest, part between the legs front, and part between the legs back side. That is 4. And 3. What is 3? 3 are the 3 things that are to be done whenever the child faces an unsafe situation, or the child identifies that an unsafe situation can happen to them. What are the 3 things? First one, say a no. You can say a no, because teaching the children saying a no is very important, particularly in our country, because in our country we treat the children that whenever elders talk, try to be silent. Now elders are talking, keep silent. Elders are talking, talk slowly. Elders are talking, don't interrupt. Elders are talking, don't smash their statements, etc., etc. So we teach all these to our children in the blanket, under the blanket of respect, and what we say, right behavior. So it is very important for us to train the children about saying a no, irrespective of whoever may the person, whoever, irrespective of age, importance of that person, other person. The child always has the right to say no assertively, and no at whatever capacity, how strong they can say a no. So that is important. Say a no. And second one is go from there. So go from there to a safe place. We can have to tell the children to go from there and go to a safe place. Like if someone is trying to touch them, give an unsafe touch to them in a particular room or in a place, then go from there to a place where more number of people are there. If the child is in a school and some unsafe touch happens in their school bathroom, then go to the classroom, go to the principal's room and share there. So go to a safe place. And the third thing that they can do is don't keep all this in your heart and suffer. You please tell about this to any one of your or possibly all protectors also, people, trusted adults, we say. So these are the 3 things that a child can say a no, go from there to a safe place, and the third one is tell an adult. And 4, 3, after the two are the 2 ways how an abuser generally approaches a child. One is they will groom the child. They will make the child as if they are very, very close, important, very good, as a part of game, as a part of secret plan between them, etc., etc. Or they will frighten that if you say, nobody will believe. See, I am more important in your family. If you say nobody will believe your word, they'll believe me only. This is how they will try to frighten. So 2 ways. And one is a child helpline number 1098. So we can always tell the child in such an easy thing, that 4321 formula, where the child can easily remember about this thing. Why we tell about child helpline number? Because child helpline number is free, 24/7 available, in no holidays, all the 365 days, 24/7 it is available. 1098, they can call and they can tell whenever they need a support. So this is the easy way the parents can talk, and the parents also can learn about this and teach the same to the children. Yes, Giridhar.
That's great, ma'am. Thank you so much for the useful information that you are providing for each and every question here. So before we wind up, lastly, just one message for our listeners with respect to the prevention of child abuse.
more than a message, I will say it will a request from my side and request from all the children of this, not only country, of this world, that learn about child safety, learn about child sexual abuse. There are so many sources nowadays. It may not be, it's not only this talk or some other, everywhere we have all the information. Please, if you have any doubts, reach to the people. If you have any doubts about how law is supporting you, if you have any doubts how to train the children, talk to the child about, then reach to the people. And what thing, please give all the necessary awareness that is needed for the child. And also every one of us also should be aware, alert, and talk about this, know about this, and encourage our children to identify an unsafe touch and also report if some unsafe touch has happened. See, Giridhar Garu from Learning Space Foundation, we also conduct a program called Shreyabhilashi. So Shreyabhilashi is a program where we teach, it's a 3-day online program that where we will train any adult who is interested, 21 plus years adults, any adult, about all these things. Now what I have shared in more detail about what is child sexual abuse, what are the psychological and other behavioral things that changes that happen, and all these things. We 3-day online training we give. It will be for 1.5 hours on each day. So 3 days we will give, that is Shreyabhilashi, which we give it on completely free based, because we just want to spread the awareness as much as possible. And if someone is interested who is listening to this show about this one, you can just check our Learning Space Foundation Facebook page, or you can also check learningspace.co.in. You can email us at learningspace.co.in at gmail.com. So you can email us as learningspace at gmail.com. So these are also different ways. Info at learningspace.co.in is also our website, where you can give us a mail, and if you are interested, you can reach to us if someone is interested to get this Shreyabhilashi training. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I'll make sure that I'll include all these links in the YouTube video description of this podcast, so that it is visible for everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So now it's time for us to move on to the next segment in our podcast, that is the rapid fire round. Basically, ma'am, it's a fun segment after our serious discussion so far, and there is no logic in the questions. So you will be given 2 options. You can select one of them, both or none. The idea is just to end the episode with a smile. So are you ready?
Wow. Yeah, ready.
Yeah. Great. So, Nalini ma'am, my first question to you in the rapid fire round: baby boy or baby girl?
That's a tough question, actually. As I have already a dynamic and active son, so here I will select a baby girl, because I already have my boy with me.
Great. Wise answer. All right. My next question to you: mother or father?
This is again, it's like your right eye or left eye. So it's very difficult. But however, I have to say, as a woman myself, I can always say that as a person also, everyone has these 2 qualities in them, both male and female, both are there. But however, I would say my first inspiration and my ever inspiration is my mother. She has taught me everything which I am able to take now decisions and go on my own is all because of the dynamism that she has showed in her own life. So I am able to just go on my own way. So I'll choose mother here.
Wow, that's great. Even your mother is a source of inspiration for us now, along with you.
Yeah.
Great. The next question: school or college?
I will definitely choose college, because I was among those students, this Vakati batch. So I am that very much victim of those study hours, ranks 99, 100 out of 100, this kind of thing. So I don't want to go to school. I will definitely go choose college, where I would like to enjoy and take that good memories again with me.
Wow, that's great. Pen or pencil?
Pen. Pen, because I don't mind if I write something, I strike off and I write again. I don't mind. I'm not fear. I don't have the fear that I should write with pencil, so that I have the facility of erasing it with rubber. I don't want that one. I am fine that if I have written something, I'll strike off and rewrite again. So I'll choose pen.
Okay. Telugu or English?
Yeah, Telugu, always Telugu, because
Yes,
uh,
our mother tongue.
our mother tongue, and also the beauty that we can express something always lies in Telugu. I can do a separate podcast about my love towards Telugu. So Telugu. For now, I'll just give the answer, and next time we will talk about love towards your mother tongue.
Amazing, definitely. Okay. Facebook or YouTube?
I have to say Facebook for now, because I have met some wonderful people. If I'm able to do some good work now, getting all the encouragement and all the support, I don't know. I believe in law of attraction and butterfly effect. I have got some amazing people through these links that are shown, that are like the paths are people shown by Facebook has created that platform, and I am always thankful to Facebook. Yeah.
Great. Mobile or laptop?
Mobile. All my work goes on in mobile only. I do a
Easy
lot
to
of work.
use.
Yeah, easy to use.
Yeah, great. Teachers' Day or Children's Day?
Teachers Day, definitely, because as a teacher who has worked for more than 12 plus years, I'll see that that is the only day where the teacher is given all the due right respect. All the other days, people have only complaints. Only on that day, they'll get all this respect that they have hold the whole year, and nice gifts also we will get. So I would prefer Teachers Day.
Great. Host or guest?
I think that doesn't make any difference, because I am that person who will talk so long that even I am the host also I'll talk, even the guest also I'll talk. So I think that doesn't make anything for me. But I would like to host something, because there are wonderful people around us where if I have an opportunity to introduce and to talk to them, it will be really great.
Yeah. Okay. My last question to you, Nalini ma'am, in the rapid fire round. In fact, the most favorite one. Let's see what you are going to say.
Yeah.
Giridhar or Nalini?
It's Girdhar now. I am smart. So it's Girdhar. Girdhar, no, not just for fun, but however, I would definitely appreciate, I will definitely appreciate Giridhar Garu from the bottom of my heart, because as I know you from the capacity of a Toastmaster, you have been my evaluator for a long time and for many speeches. So you have you have corrected me, you have given me the very nice directions towards my speech and to my delivery. And without any airs and ego, now you have just invited me to your show only on the basis of the good work that I am seeing, I am doing, and you have seen the positive side of it without thinking that, see, it's like why to give so much of space for some person, but you have graced this, and I'm very, very thankful for you. And definitely Girdhar, and definitely Girdhar Garu, for thank you very much for taking me into this, and I mean inviting me or giving me some space to share about my work. And you have been, it's like wonderful thing from your part, that you can have, as I told just now, that you can have so many topics, so many things to do, entertainment purpose, but just for a very good cause, you have given me all this time and space. And really, I also wish you a lot of success in your for your channel, for your podcast. And I wish as many people as possible would listen to you and understand, enjoy the things that you are bringing on your platform. Like, I'm always thankful and grateful to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Not only for choosing me, but also for joining this show now. In fact, I'm very grateful and I'm obliged at this moment, privileged to have you in this podcast, because you have provided so much of valuable information that can help the society as a whole, not just an individual or some group of individuals, but it can definitely help the society and bring a positive change in the society. So thank you so much, Nalini ma'am, for joining us on the show today. We look forward to having you once again on this podcast in near future.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Hope that happens again and again. And as I told, for any of these information related to child safety or abuse awareness, anything, training programs, or any talks about this, anything about this, we are always ready. Every day, every minute, we are ready to work on this cause. And if you have, if anyone who is listening to this want to know or contact us, you can just contact me on my Facebook page. Also, it's Nalini Teacher. Again, the same. I'm everywhere in Insta and everywhere I'm with the same name of Nalini Teacher. And if you just drop a message and I'll get back to you regarding things. And as I told, all our main motto is to keep the child safe, children safe. And for that, anything, every time we are ready. And that's what, Giridhar Garu. Thank you very much.
Amazing, ma'am. As usual, a huge round of applause and huge respect for you for working for a social cause. And I would like to thank you once again for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So that's the end of episode, listeners. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I will be back next week with another amazing guest. See you.